my original Star Wars crush. I don't know if this is cute or scary. Hey everyone, Jeremy here. Today I am going to talk about my theory on how Mara Jade could come to Star Wars once again. Yes, into canon. I believe it is very possible, and I believe it'll actually happen now, and I'm going to explain why. First off, if you don't know who Mara is, I'll give a brief overview. I was actually going to read this off Wikipedia, but I know her well enough that I should be able to do this off the top of my head. Mara, the first person to hold a purple lightsaber, was originally the Emperor's hand, or an Emperor's hand, as it turned out. And that is, basically, she was an assassin for the Emperor, trained in the dark side to a degree, not so much that she would ever be a threat, but just enough that she could carry out his will. If Vader was the hammer, she was a scalpel. She was to go in and do these things quietly for the most part. After the Emperor died, she wound up working for, I believe it was Talon Card, who was basically a ne'er-do-well. And by chance, she ran into Luke Skywalker, someone she was supposed to kill not that long ago. What ended up happening was Mara gained a respect for Luke, and instead of wanting him dead, begrudgingly started to follow him, started to listening to his teachings. And eventually, the fiery redhead became his wife. That is a very short version of who she is. Mara as a person was the yin to Luke's yang. While Luke, by Return of the Jedi Luke, he was very zenful, but with those moments of anger, as seen when he tried to kill his dad. Mara was all passion and heart with moments of zen. So every time Luke was out of balance and maybe he was giving into his anger, Mara could be the one to counterbalance him. She would be the one to bring him back. And while maybe Luke's being too zen, Mara was the one that would push him to go, no, you need to follow your heart in this situation. They had this perfect relationship. They were the perfect balance to one another. And one of the reasons I miss her so much is we don't have that passionate Jedi running around anymore, keeping Luke on his toes. That is a very brief overview of Mara, and I know some people are probably going to be writing, no, she did this. No, that is just the way I view Mara. I'm sure we all have our own view of how she is, but that is my view. So how do I think she's going to come back? Well, Dave Filoni and Favreau. I know all of us keep championing them, but after this season where every prediction I had got thrown out the window because I kept adhering to basic TV rules. Basic TV rules kept saying, oh no, they tease out this, they tease out that. We get a glimpse of this, we get a glimpse of that. They'll never bring this into canon. And they constantly did it. That is why I think Mara is a real possibility. And I think it's more likely than not at this point because they love to pull from the EU. And Grand Admiral Thrawn is absolutely the reason for this. Thrawn came into canon because Filoni wanted him, because he is a fantastic character. And Thrawn is arguably, they're neck and neck as far as EU characters are concerned. Those are two of the most popular EU characters ever created. And I think Filoni knows that, and I think Favreau may not know it, but Filoni would tell him. Now, could they bring back the same storyline? Actually, kind of. Mara was introduced in the Thrawn trilogy, in the original Thrawn trilogy. Heir to the Empire. Heir to the Empire not only introduced us to Mara, but it introduced us to Thrawn. It also introduced us to the idea of cloning a Jedi. Does anybody see a pattern to what has been happening in the last season of The Mandalorian and that storyline I was just talking about? I really think it's a possibility now that as this storyline progresses with Thrawn in the Ahsoka series and probably tapering into Mandalorian and probably into the Fett series, all these series taking place in the same timeline, I have a feeling we're going to get our own version of the Thrawn trilogy to a degree. It won't be a one-to-one by any means, but I think that's kind of what they're doing now with all these legends. Just like with Boba Fett, his family were Mandalorians in the past, and he got his armor from a Mandalorian that was given to him. So it's, we are getting these legends that are coming true. And I think Mara is one of those. And I think it's important that she does, because I've talked about this before. I think we're going to get a Luke Skywalker series. I actually think it's more likely than ever now. It may be animation or it may be live action. I genuinely don't know, but I think because of the reception that we have seen in The Mandalorian, Luke's going to be back. I think he has to be. And I think that Favreau and Filoni will know this, and I think they will convince everyone else of this, if they aren't already convinced enough, just because they should be seeing, the bigwigs should be seeing dollar signs, quite frankly. This shouldn't even be a hesitation on their part. But in that series, if we get a Luke who is searching the universe, maybe he's rebuilding the Order, maybe he's searching for artifacts. Either way, it would be so easy for him to come across Mara and have that exact same relationship where they start off as antagonists. She gets this begrudging respect for him. They're almost like Riggs and Murtaugh with way more sexual tension. And the story goes from there. You could use this as the impetus to why Luke actually was the way he was in The Last Jedi. Instead of Ben just killing his students, what if Ben killed the love of his life too? How much would that ruin Luke? Not only does he watch his temple get Order 66 by his Padawan, who has turned out to be much more like Anakin than he ever thought, but he sees his Padawan kill the woman he loves. His nephew, this child he thought of almost as his own, murdered his wife. Well, maybe not wife. I don't think they would actually get married, but I think that you could have that. They are together, right? Sort of a relationship going on. Kind of like what Canon and Hera had in Rebels, if you've seen that relationship, where you just kind of knew, yeah, they're together. There's no real question about this. We're not seeing the romance, but we're seeing the romance. It's there. You can tell. Bringing Mara back would actually smooth out a lot of rough edges that Disney is trying so hard to mend right now, that I think it's kind of inevitable. They need a character like this. They need her. She can bring back Luke, which everyone wants. She's one of the most popular EU characters, which all of us old EU fans want to see. She would help smooth out the sequels, which we need. It's a trifecta of things we want, that fans want. Even if you don't know who Mara is, the stories she could lead to are exactly what people want. I think she's going to happen. I think she will happen in the Mandalorian time frame, and I think Luke will be in that time frame as well. Now, it's possible I'm wrong about that. I really think I might be wrong about that one. I would prefer it in that time frame, and I think Disney would push for that time frame, but that would be up to the creatives, because you could make an argument to, well, no, we need to set it, closer to the sequels because we want it to be an older Luke training an older Ben. But if not, even if you didn't want to, you could always have the series start in the Mandalorian time frame, but then you did a time jump to where it's not in the last season, so we get to see exactly what happened to Luke's temple. And one key thing I didn't even mention is Mara could stay an Emperor's hand, or she could be an Inquisitor. Either or would actually fit the story. Just because we haven't ever heard of an Emperor's hand doesn't mean they don't exist. Just because we didn't hear of Dark Troopers in canon doesn't mean they don't exist. So nothing stops them from saying, no, the Emperor had a couple of hands that went out and did his bidding for him, to tidy up loose ends for him. Be perfectly reasonable to say that happened. I don't even see that as a problem, especially since they already established in the Clone Wars that he was seeking out Force-sensitive children because he wanted to train them as his own acolytes. It's exactly who Mara is. Someone trained to be his acolyte. All right, so that's my theory on how Mara Jade will come back in the canon and why I think we need her. Am I completely off base on this? Am I crazy? Do you have your own theories on how she'll come into canon? Do you think there's just no way she will? Leave those comments below. I always appreciate your points of view. If you liked this video, please hit like and subscribe to see more content like this. All right, and before I go, as always, please take care of yourselves and please take care of each other. Thanks for watching.